G'day everyone, I'm Smokescreen and welcome back to another video, and here we go with some more daily race C action from the full circuit of Kyoto Driving Park. It's the same session as the previous video, so if you remember the previous video, we came up against a couple of dirty drivers, and unfortunately for Atom and I, we had to seek out our revenge. So I think all four of us kind of a little bit guilty of some questionable driving tactics. However, in Atom and I's defence, I think we were just about provoked, weren't we? I'll let you all be the judge of that, I guess. But we're going to go in again, and I've gone for the Lamborghini, so I did actually 2 races in the Lamborghini and then like 4 other races in 4 completely different cars. But yeah, I'm showing you both the Lamborghini races instead of giving you some variety. But the 2 Lamborghini races are perhaps the most entertaining ones, so that's what I've gone with here. And we're going to basically just try and not get stuck in a battle with the dirty driver. So, at the start of the race, again, remember, we're not going to go into the pit lane before the race actually starts, because that doesn't work. Remember, PhD thesis on the way, so I know what I'm talking about. So we are going to have to pick a different lap to do our pit stop, and generally I like to go for an early stop as possible to give myself the best chance at an undercut and get myself out of the traffic that is present at the start of the race, as the Subaru and the Renault again run very aggressive. Up into turn 4, I think does the Subaru get up the inside? He does, bit of contact on the way through, but I'm sure the Subaru was just about there. Shuffles them again out onto the curb on the exit of turn 4, and we're now running side by side through turn 5. We're going to dip down the hill through turn 6, which starts off the braking zone for turn 7. It's such a difficult braking zone, because you've essentially got a couple of turns in the braking zone. It's so difficult. Oh dear, have we bumped that Subaru wide? Goodness me, that's not my best driving there, is it? I don't even redress it. Oh my goodness, that's filth. That's filth, mate. That's disgusting. Anyway, what was I talking about? The braking zone for turn 7, that's completely in my rear view mirror now. So we're going to cast our attention ahead as the Renault Megane, a different Renault Megane I believe, and a Mazda Atenza are now going to interlock themselves in a battle. And it's not a good part of the track to go side by side and go really aggressive, because of this exact reason here. They have contact and they both get sent wide coming into turn 11, and we're going to take advantage of both of that. More contact behind my car, but that was fine. At that stage, I got the position up into 16th. Oh, someone sent it down the inside at turn 12, a Renault again. Not sure which one that was. Not sure if that was the one from before. We switch it over to the left-hand side of him, but we just about run into the back of him. So we're going to grab his slipstream coming up the hill through turn 13, and we're not quite able to get that done at turn 14. Coming into the downhill S's now. We're going to try and do this side-by-side action. It doesn't work out well. There's contact between us. I end up in the barrier. He ends up in the barrier, and that has not come off well for either of us. Oh dear. Not the best start to the race. I think that was a little bit too aggressive, but had to try it, I guess. I think I was stuck in the mentality of all these drivers are actually a lot slower than me, because my DR is a lot lower than it should be. Oh, that's the... Okay, I'm glad I didn't change tyres, because I can probably confirm the ride quality would probably dip significantly if I put on a 2-sided tyre, if I put on 4 hemispheres on my car. Is that what it's called? Half a circle? A semicircle, isn't it? That's not really a hemisphere, is it? Oh dear. I need to go back to geometry. But yeah, I would say my ride quality would probably dip quite significantly if I put on 4 semicircled wheels. Anyway, exit of the pits. We pitted really early, so it gave us a load of clear air. So we're able to skip essentially a whole lap here, because we had no cars around us, but we've overtaken somebody in the pits now, so we're up into 18th. I think we were in 20th, but somebody disconnected during the lap in which I skipped over. So we were up into 19th out of 19, so still in last. And then we overtook somebody in the pits, so now 18th out of 19. And we're now coming up to the back of a different Mazda Atenza now. We're coming up to the aqua-coloured Mazda Atenza again. So I don't think they've pitted. I think that we've just caught up to them and they're still yet to pit. But Mazda Atenza gets a poor exit out of turn 4. I'm not quite able to get get my Lamborghini up to a little bit of a gap at turn 5. So I give him a little bit of a bump. We're just going to be looking to get a nice exit out of turn 7 now. Make sure we touch that curb there. Oh, Mazda Atenza makes an absolute hash of the exit. 4 wheels on the grass. He's going to have filthy tyres, which means that he's going to be no real match for the amount of grip that I'm going to have through turn 8. And we're catching up to the Mazda Atenza, different Mazda Atenza to the one we just overtook, but the same Mazda Atenza that we had at the start of the race. A bit of a Tenza inception. Lots of Tenzas going on. But let's see if we can get the move done at the final hairpin. Oh, he's run it wide, hasn't he? And his four wheels on the grass there. He rejoins with a little bit of contact with me, but that's fine. We get that done. Up the inside there. He's going to have dirty tyres now, so he's going to be no real match for the amount of grip I'm going to have through turn 12 now. And we get the power down as we exit the second of the two junctions here at Kyoto Driving Park, Yamagiwa plus Miyabi. Anyway, we have skipped ahead a little bit because we caught up to the second Subaru up in 13th and another Renault Megane up in 14th, just ahead of me. We're coming into the change of direction in the Miyabi circuit again, so we're not going to be going for a move here, and we're definitely probably not going to be going for a move at the following turn either, because we get a poor change of direction. I run it in too hot on the brakes, and I had nowhere to go except the outside, so the Renault Megane is able to keep that position. Now, can we just look to get a nice fast exit from turn 12, trying to get the power down. The track has really awkward elevation changes through both the joins there, both the junctions, and it makes it really difficult to commit to the power early because the car can slide out from under you, and it's really not what you want. The Renault Megane runs very wide through turn 14, not what you want either, but it's going to give us a very good run out onto this top straight towards the downhill S's. We're not going to try and go side by side like we did at the start of the race because that did not work out too well for us at all. So we're just going to hang in behind, get a nice line through the final two parts, the most important two parts of the S's there, and we get a much better exit than the Megane. We send it up the inside of the final turn, we run it in a bit deep, and the Renault Megane goes for the cutback. Beautiful manoeuvre there by the Renault Megane, if I do say so myself. He shuts the door on the exit. I got nowhere to go to try and get up the inside at turn 1. Some more people in the pits, so I'm up into 13th at this stage. We will have to be careful of anyone coming out of the pits so we get past the pit entry, or the pit exit rather, with no cars to report of. We are up into 13th. We're going to get a nice exit out of turn 1. We perform the cutback on the Renault Megane this time, and that gives us an excellent run coming up into turn 2 and turn 3, the flip-flop chicane, leaping over that curb at turn 2 and up the hill at turn 3. We're going to skip ahead now to the end of lap 5, some more people in the pits, so we're going to be up into 11th at this stage. Does anybody come out of the pits? Somebody is coming out, another Renault Megane. It looks, I think he's in the same livery, maybe slightly different liveries, but it looks very similar to the Renault Megane that we were just battling with, but it obviously is not because we overtook that Renault Megane, so there's no way it then pitted and came out ahead of me. But anyway, up into 12th. It's imperative to my race that I don't end up losing too much time behind all these other drivers, so I'm going to be looking to get past them again as quick as possible, and there's a battle brewing. There's actually 4 cars directly ahead of them again as well. Coming into the closing stages of the race, the Honda's been shuffled out onto the grass now, so that's going to bring the Honda a little bit closer to me, and it's going to give the Honda dirty tyres, and that Honda's actually quite a handful, so he's going to have to be really careful into this braking zone. Unfortunately, I've got nowhere to go. It's actually not a braking zone where you can send one up the inside. I get caught out by the Honda having dirty tyres and run into the back of him. I'm right on the back of him on the exit there. I've got a very good view of the parts number of the tail light assembly on the back of the Honda. That's how close I was to the back of the Honda on that particular occasion. He's still probably going to be suffering a little bit of dirty tyre effects, but that the mid-engined Honda is going to be very good through turn 8 here, and he is. He gets a good mid-corner, but I get a better exit. I'm also mid-engined, actually, to be fair, so I really should have the same kind of advantages that the Honda has. So we get up the inside just before the change of direction, and the Renault Megane that we were just fighting with or looking to sort of get a move done on previously has run wide on the exit of turn 10 it is. Trying to look down on my map and read the quarter number very quickly, and he's got himself half a second penalty for it too, and some dirty tyres to boot. So we're going to have this slipstream coming up the hill through the little left kink of turn 13, looking around the outside for turn 14. Oh, another car's been bundled off the track. Another car's wide, and that's going to promote us all up in position. Blue Racer, that is off the track on the outside of the long right-hander heading up onto the top straight. And we're now right on the back of the Renault Megane. I've got another car close behind on the radar. It was just about looking like it was going to try and send one down the inside of these downhill S's. We get a lovely rendition of the downhill S's at that particular stage, but I think in that particular example, I was way too close to the back of the Renault again as I run it a little bit deep, and the Honda takes advantage of that and manages to re-overtake me. The Renault again is now going to serve his half-second penalty halfway along this main straight here. You know, not the worst place to serve your penalty, not the best place either. And we get a position up. Back into ninth, the Honda defends into turn 1, rightly so, because I would have definitely gone for the move if I could have, but not quite come off on this occasion. We get a nice exit out of turn 1 and the slipstream of the Honda in turn 2. He runs defensive into turn 2, but I'll move it back over to the left because he doesn't quite open up the corner as much as I did, and I'm able to get a better exit, unfortunately running into the back of him though. So this is what makes Kyoto Driving Park quite a difficult circuit. I think I've spoke about this before. It's got a lot of left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. It's not got really many 2 consecutive corners in the same direction. So it's so hard to actually get a move up the inside and also complete the move at the following corner in the same direction that favours you. It's very much a left, right, which means you can, a lot of the time you can actually get up the inside, and then they can hang it around the outside and you're side by side into the next corner, which favours the inside car, which is the car that you just tried to overtake on the previous corner, which is on the outside. So it's quite difficult, and I think we saw a little bit of that at the turn 2 because he got a poor exit of turn 2, but because turn 3 was left, I had to then hang it around the outside to try and complete the move, and I ended up running into the back of him instead. But the group, or the pair up ahead, it's not really a group anymore. I think a couple of people have fallen out of said group. Definitely Blue Racer did. But we're catching up to the back of another couple of cars now, and the Honda is very much on edge here, looking very racy at this stage in the race. The Japanese driver is. Subaru up ahead runs it quite deep into turn 11, runs it narrow into turn 12, and him and another Renault again, a blue one this time, are running nose to tail on the exit of turn 12, up the hill again. We're all going to have slipstream off one another. Blue Racer 2.2 seconds down the road. So this battle for essentially 6th place, I think it is going to hot up quite nicely as we're sort of coming towards the closing ending stages of of lap 7 rather. The end of turn 7 happened a long time ago. But we're going to have the slipstream heading along the top straight. We're a little bit further back from the Honda than all the other cars in the group are, and the Honda actually gets it out of sequence. He doesn't quite get the rhythm right. Look how much ground we catch up. We're right in this battle now. We're right in the mix, getting a very, very nice downhill S's, and we're going to take the wider line on the entry, the narrower line and quicker exit on the exit of this particular corner, but we're still not quite able to get anything done at this stage. So Honda, Renault again, Subaru, all versus a Lamborghini Huracan, and there's another car that's come out of the pits this time. Oh my goodness, I was hoping, oh dear, they've all backed up. There's been a massive concertina effect into turn 1, and we've gotten around the outside of the Honda thanks to that. We're almost running into the back of this again. Oh, is that a brake check by the Subaru that time? Oh man, they all just slowed up on the exit and I got caught in it. And of course no one ran into the back of me, so I lost all my speed. So now I've got 4 cars ahead of me. That Lamborghini, I'm going to say, it's very likely it may have new tyres. Oh, he left the door open there. Sorry, mate. You turned in about an ice age too late into that corner. Is that another brake check? And I get unstable trying to... Oh my goodness, trying to avoid that again. Just no speed on the exit from the Subaru driven by Billy Jack. I think there's brake checks or just not getting on the power as we're coming into turn 7, and I've just been bundled off the track. Oh man, like, what is this?
Racing or ping-pong?
And, you know, a couple more. The 2 white Renault Meganes from earlier in the race have managed to catch up to us again because we've all been battling here. I mean, what's this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars at least, and another couple of cars up the road that were part of the group. We're going to try and get it up the inside as this Renault Megane takes an absolutely terrible line through the change of direction. And there's nothing I can do. I bumped into the back of him and he still comfortably made the corner, so just carrying no speed. And it was so frustrating now. I was just frustrated because I swear that Subaru was brake checking. There was no reason for everyone to be going that slow on the exit of some of the turns. Like, the Subaru either didn't commit to the power or was brake checking, and I unfortunately got caught out by both occasions, being the last of the cars to be sort of balked by the brake check on the first occasion, and then getting the MR Lamborghini too unstable trying to avoid the second one, and I end up getting bundled off the track. We're going to send it down the inside, quite an aggressive move into the downhill S's. The other Lamborghini gets all the sequence wrong, and I just sent it up the gap. He left up the inside. He's sort of, I've definitely put him off a bit, and he's made a right hash of the rest of the downhill S's, but he got the initial turn in rhythm wrong, and it just put him sort of offline for the entire downhill S's. So I managed to send it up the inside there, not really an overtaking spot at all, and we're just looking to try and get one last position off this Scirocco, but he's going to have the advantage of the slipstream off the Renault again. And I'm only going to finish in 10th. Oh man, another really frustrating race. And I was beginning to see that this combination with this level of drivers is really just an absolute dirty driving festival. However, we were up 10 positions. Great race. I'm not sure if that was a great race at all, but I had to leave that one there. There was no way I could suffer through more of that absolutely horrific, filthy driving. So we're going to move on to something that's objectively probably a lot worse. Porsche Taycan at Red Bull Ring Short. Now this car, it weighs about 2.2 tons or something, so you have to brake really early, and that's caught a lot of people out in this race, and you'll see exactly what happens as everyone tries to make it work, like 4 into turn 1. That's not quite going to work, and we'll see how this one turns out for us. Coming into turn 2 now, 2 cars wide off the track, some more contact, and I get absolutely barged up the inside by Just Motorsport there, and just shafts me and the car on my outside, making it 3 wide when there was really no room for barely 2 wide. We make up a few positions. We're up into 7th now. So essentially now we've just got to keep a handle of the car, which is easier said than done, because look at this. Look at the understeer. I just completely understeer off the track, and I mean, that was definitely understeer sort of induced by the fact that I broke too late, and we managed to get a penalty for that. So we're going to have to serve that at the only penalty gates on the circuit, which is coming into the second to last corner now, and we've got to be really careful that no one runs. Oh, we almost get rammed. If you were looking on the radar, a car set it in way too hot. We almost got rammed on that particular occasion, and on the exit now we have quite a large air gap ahead and behind, so we're just going to fast forward up to turn 1 where the next bit of action takes place, and committing to the power on the exit, we just go over the top of the yellow sausage, and you know at Red Bull Ring what that means. Oh yeah, a half-second penalty, another one. We're going to have to serve that again. Thankfully, the penalty gates are far enough along the straight on which they're on this track that you can serve the penalty within the same lap. We get punted into the second to last corner, so we're going to sort of take advantage and run a lot wider than we really were going to, because you can now get away with it because there was contact. The Porsche ahead then gets a half-second penalty. That's going to be for track limits, not even for contact. So hopefully we can just avoid more penalties, except that we run wide at turn 1 again, and I think we just about step just beyond track limits as we're catching that little bit of oversteer moment we had. Just too far left, and just enough to get a penalty. So we're going to have to serve this one now again on this lap, and we're falling backwards down the field like an absolute stone. Someone takes advantage and sends down the inside, bit of contact on the way through, but a little bit better than what we've previously seen. And then coming into the final turn, very, very, very slow on the final apex there, and then the first turn, instead of running wide of the apex, I end up turning in too early and cutting the apex because I get another half-second penalty. So I'm really... This video is just... I mean, what even is this video? Should I even be showing you this? Because this is just an absolute woeful display of driving. There's been no good racing in this video at all. In fact, if you're still here, comment penalty. Comment just penalty if you're still watching. And that will, yeah, I really will be surprised if people are even still watching at this stage, because this is just a really, really shocking display of racing. This is a crime against motorsport. Crimes against motorsport are being committed, because we're coming on to lap 6. Still got 2 laps to go. Man, this is an absolute slog of a race to get through. And we're coming up into turn 1 now. Let's see if we can get it right this time. And committing to the power. It's actually not been too bad through turn 1 that time. I've got Just Motorsport behind that's going to be looking to try and get past me because they're within the slipstream range at this stage. It's very awkward, this junction too. The junctions, man, the junctions today, this week, are just proving to be, you know, absolute animals to get right. We've got 2 really awkward junctions at Kyoto Driving Park, 1 awkward junction here at Red Bull Ring for the short circuit, and we get punted into the second to last corner. Would you believe it? I feel as though I was definitely braking at the right spot and actually to be fair, Just Motorsport doesn't sort of take advantage of that. He actually drops right back very well out of slipstream, and because I was out of slipstream of the guy up ahead, I wasn't able to catch him, and I ended up finishing in 9th. Oh dear. So, yeah, we're having trouble with the junctions, we're having trouble with the cars, we're having trouble with the opponents. It's a really difficult video, this one. But I knew that this race was really going to be going nowhere fast at all if I didn't sort of set some representative qualification time. So I did a quick few laps, got myself up into good enough for 3rd position. It was like a 50.8 or something. And it puts us 3rd on the grid. We're going to go immediately to the inside, see if we can take advantage of any of these 2 cars up ahead, sort of taking each other out. They kind of do, but I'm too narrow on that apex. I'm not able to get the momentum to sort of send it up the inside. The car ahead defends so late, and then I brake too late and end up going halfway up the full circuit for Red Bull Ring. I get reset on the rejoin, and I'm back down into bloody last place. Oh my goodness. I was just thrown off by the Japanese driver ahead just defending so late, because I was going to try and send it up the inside, but yeah, he just cut across, shut the door. I'm in last. Now I've got a penalty, which I'm going to have to serve, obviously, on this coming lap. Coming up through turn 1 now. Let's see if things kick off at turn 2. Again, the car's not proving to be very good brakers at all. It's definitely a point and squirt kind of car, this. It's electric, by the way, as well. Porsche Taycan, electric Porsche. So that's obviously why you're not hearing any engine noises, except for the very faint whirring of the electric motors, I suppose. But we served the penalty, and we're immediately back in the battle because they're all smashing the absolute living daylights out of each other. So coming down through the final turn, I'm not quite able to commit to that power because I had another black Porsche on the outside of me, right on the exit apex where I wanted to be. But I've got this slipstream coming up towards turn 1, and let's see if we can actually do anything with it. But the black Porsche was already sending a move on the red Porsches. There was nothing I could go. We all come to a stop on the exit of turn 1, and I get shafted again by just coming to a complete stop. That one wasn't really a brake check. I just got unlucky there. Red Porsche now has a penalty. White Porsche sent wide. It's trying to come back for an apex that the black Porsche is already inhabiting, and then he just cuts across the left, shuts and cuts the nose off the white Porsche, and we're going to be looking down the inside at the upcoming turn 5, I think it is, on this track as we head onto the brakes, coming down into the last 2 corners. Do we get it stopped? No, we've run it wide, so we know what that means. We're probably going to get a penalty for that, aren't we? Red Porsche hangs it out all the way to the outside. White Porsche runs off the track. Are they going to get a penalty for that one? I think we've gotten away with our little off-track excursion. Perhaps there was a small bit of contact that I didn't notice that maybe saved myself from the penalty there. White Porsche sends it in very hot, turns in with me on the inside. Like I was there, mate. That's no one else's fault but your own. I'm taking that position, I'm sorry. Yellow flag's out. Does that mean we're going to be making another position up? Yes, I think it does. We've got a green Porsche Taycan that's made a massive mistake at turn 2, running into the sand, or maybe they've been binned off. I shouldn't really just assume that they've made a mistake. I should really consider the possibility that they may have been punted off by somebody else, but maybe in this case it's probably more likely to be a mistake because it's very difficult to be quite consistent in this particular car because of the way the weight moves all over the place, all 2.2 tons of it or whatever, or however heavy this car is. I mean, that's bloody heavy for a little sports sedan kind of thing, a sort of sportback coupe car. But the black car got a penalty and is running defensive up into turn 1. We're going to be looking around the outside, and we're not quite able to make it work, but there was a bit of side-to-side contact, so I take advantage and run very wide at turn 1 using the old track limits right when this track was first introduced in the game. Remember when you could do that? You could run all the way out to the wall and not get a penalty. Oh, the days, the old days of Gran Turismo. Those were the days, weren't they? Green Porsche gets a penalty and has to serve that, and immediately picks himself up another penalty. The car up in 5th currently also has a penalty. So I think we're going to have to do a drinking game for penalty, aren't we? You'll all be absolutely paralytic by the time you've rewound this video to have another go. The Green Porsche gets another penalty for running wide at turn 1, and that's gone up to a 2nd. I kind of biff and barge my way through there. I'm not sort of wasting my time getting stuck behind a car that's about to serve a 1-second penalty. Car up ahead serves a half-second penalty. Is that enough for me to get close enough into this upcoming final lap to get 5th? I don't think it's going to be, because we don't get the best second to last corners, and by the end of the race we kind of got within about half a second, up to about half a second. But ultimately it was only going to be 6th, and that was all the fun to be had at this Daily Race A combination. That was it. Yeah, just this car feels like an absolute boat. The brakes don't work, the weight moves all over the shop, the junction at Red Bull Short isn't the best, the track isn't the best, the penalties aren't the best, Kyoto driving part wasn't the best. Yeah, I think the driving in general wasn't the best either. Definitely myself included as well. I definitely didn't drive as well as I normally do. But I think that's what the second account's for. Some, a bit of fun where you don't have to think too much about the consequences of every little particular mistake you do. Whereas if you're driving in top split of the region in FIA, you've definitely got to be mindful about everything you do. And that's fun in itself, but there's different fun to be had in this game, and that's why I've got the second account. But anyway, that's going to finish up this video today, so do hit the like button if you enjoyed, and do subscribe if you'd like to see more videos from me. Do leave a comment as well. Questions, comments, and constructive criticism, as always, very much appreciated. But that's going to be the end of this one today. That means that is it from me. So once again, I do thank you very much for watching. See you later.